Morning, Andrew. Um, say it
Greetings.
quiet, say it quietly, but it's the week that the serious racing man dreads half term.
Yes, it's a balancing act, isn't it? I'm just glad it hasn't fallen during Chester's main meeting or the down team meeting at York. So it's relatively quiet. Tuesday afternoon, I took off and took the little monsters to soft play.
Oh my
And
God, hell on earth! We've passed that now. We went to Dawlish Warren in a nice family friendly hotel. It was actually quite good. We didn't miss much. Sunday to Wednesday, kids enjoyed it, but little Monty wasn't too over enamored with the machines that come down and pick up the toy that you want to win and then drop it.
oh,
I think he was calling for a steward's inquiry after the first couple. And then after he put about £5 in, so I thought it was a life lesson to teach him. There was a, it was calling for the whole sport to be banned. Uh,
Funny enough,
which yeah, there was a meltdown that these machines have stolen his hard-earned money.
I,
Talking of
I,
which,
I tried to do a similar thing to my nephew many years ago when I was living in Canary Wharf. He came down to stay with me. I took him to the amusement arcade in the Trocadero in Piccadilly Circus. And they had one of those grab machines where they had sort of proper footballs as prizes. And I said, you're never going to win one of those. They're a complete rip-off. And he didn't realize you had to press the button. So he went straight to the end, grabbed one, got one.
ah,
So next thing, I'm trying to think how old he must have been. About 10 years old. We're on a tube station platform. He's got this new football. He's bouncing. It's kind of. I'm thinking if that goes on the train tracks, he's probably going to go in after it. So abandoned ship and got a taxi. So yeah, that football cost a pound for a go and 20 quid in the cab. So
ideal. The only
I bet it burst about 3 days later as well.
Monty does like the two P falls. Like that one thing, he's the only kid I've ever seen that's actually come home with two P's.
Hmm.
He decided that he was going to keep them anyway, but not this time. Anyway, talking of slightly dodgy carryings on, did you see that yesterday? Was it Wexford?
Yeah, I caught up with it on social media.
So did I. Yeah, I didn't watch it live, but
Yeah, it didn't look very good, did it? So yeah, for those of you not familiar with this, was it the 4:55 at Wexford on Wednesday, the 28th of February? Catch up with the replay of that. And to the to my untrained eye, it looked very much like the jockey thought this horse had drifted from apparently 13 to 8 out to 13 to 2, and looked like it was going to piss all over the 3-1 off favourite trained by Gordon Elliott. I think the jockey took evasive action and thought this wasn't the plan. So.
did you see? Have you seen the still photo?
I haven't.
Well, I'm not sure who's. I'm
Is
not
that
going to
even
say
more
name.
damning? Mm,
Well, it looks like a parachutist about to
yeah.
both
Do,
knees tucked up.
do you remember
It's
one? Do you remember the jockey Sean Fox did the same thing
oh
at?
well.
Was it Fonwell? I was about to
I
say
was
Fakenham. I
there.
couldn't remember where it was.
I was there. I thought, well, yeah.
Yeah, it was.
Allegedly did the same thing, Andrew.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, a fall off with Foxy. It was. The thing was the was it a hurdle or a fence? I can't remember. It was a fence. Was it chase race or?
I can't remember, but I know that Barry Dennis supposedly knew about it beforehand.
But the thing was, you can see him the obstacle before he jumps off, looking on the ground as though he's looking for a sort of grass coloured mattress that was meant to be there or something like that, looking for his landing spot. And yeah, that was a funny race because what most people don't know, there was a rick in the Racing Post spotlight that day. And I think the race was saved, for example, in February. And the spotlight writer, who I can't remember who it was, had put, so it ran second at so and so last month, but it wasn't last month, it was the previous year. So it had been priced up as though it had run, within the last month or so, where in fact it had been off the track for over a year. And I think that's sort of one of the reasons why it was sort of fairly short to start with and then drifted. It was a terrible race as well. I think they thought we probably got a semi-fit animal here who's a lot shorter than we thought. We can get a few quid out of the machine. So yeah,
All allegedly, of course, we don't like to. But I think, yeah. I mean, look, that still photos everywhere now on social media. So you look for that, and then, well, I won't say any more, but you look for the still photo that's up. Anyway,
yeah.
Andrew,
Well,
after
yeah,
all
it's
that,
all fun and games, isn't it? I'm just noticing on the Racing Post website today there's a jockey called Greg Fairley who was warned off for passing on information and preventing horses from running on their merits, who's been given his license again at the age of 37.
Oh well, everybody's got to earn a crust. Talking of which, trying to earn crusts, gambling. This one, Andrew,
Gambling, Simon, you can't use the key word. It's investing.
investing. It worked in the 80's with a
Oh,
question
yes.
mark. Number 7. Take it
Yeah,
away, Maestro.
we touched on nursery handicaps when we were talking about those 6-year-old top weights in handicaps. And in that article, I looked at horses of each age group and how they did when they were top weights in handicaps. And of course, we're coming up to the nursery season, which starts in July. That's handicaps for 2-year-olds. So all these horses who've not been good enough to, win a maiden or a novice, running up against horses rated sort of 90 or even higher, but are only going to be sort of achieving marks in the sort of 50s and 60s, are all of a sudden going to run handicaps. Instead of going off at 100 to 1, they're going to go off a lot shorter. Now, this is the formulator article making those nurseries pay, and this will be sort of mid 80s. I'm not sure the exact timeline. And basically, it says July sees the start of the nursery season, so this is the moment to answer a letter from a reader from East Anglia. Doesn't give the name of the reader, which probably means it's made up because there were no letters, so he's done it himself. And I have experience of that because a mate of mine used to edit the letters page in Raceform Update, a now defunct weekly newspaper. And every now and again, he'd get in touch with me and say, "There's a pony in it for you if you want to write the star letter of the week because we haven't got anything suitable."
I write a letter for you. Didn't
I
I
think
do
you
one?
might have done, yeah. Yeah, so the game's not straight,
Those
is
were
it?
the days. Those were the days.
It's all stacked against you. It's not what you know; it's who you know. So he writes, inverted commas, it is well known that a good system is to back top weights in nurseries during August. Now this is something that drives me mad with like horse race analysis, because every time a top weight wins a nursery, lazy pundits will say the old adage, always back the top weights in nurseries, the kind of thing you hear from betting shop punters, without giving any data, stats, or evidence to back it up. Now, he then goes on to say that it's easier to carry big weights on easy tracks like Brighton, Chester. It shows how old the article is because he says Edinburgh instead of Musselburgh, Folkestone, which is now defunct, and he even says sort of Kempton on turf. And obviously, they haven't had turf racing on the flat at Kempton for some time. Um, I'll question the sanity of the reader, the reader in question, because he puts Sandown down as an easy track, and although Formulator takes issue with that and says he wouldn't put Sandown down as an easy track for obvious reasons, like the steep uphill climb to the line. So so this is the thing I'm checking out here, and it looks, say it's he comes up with some sort of a profitable angle. He looked at Formulator went on to look at this over 6 years. Like he took the last 3 years, probably sort of 82, 83, 84, and 3 random years from the 70s. Came out with a profit in certain circumstances. But I looked at what happens if you back the top weights in nurseries on turf in Britain only, going back to the start of 2016, and basically you'd lose money. You'd have a strike rate of about 1 in 6, but you'd from 1,500 bets, you'd lose over 400 quid at SP, and a Betfair SP, you'd lose over 250 quid, which is 17% on turnover. You could lay them all blind, top weights in nurseries on turf in that period, and make a profit. I then did a breakdown month by month because the reader had mentioned that it was a well-known winning system in the month of August, but that didn't help. I mean, July actually had a higher strike rate for top weights, 21.2%. That dropped to 17% in August, and again, you'd make big losses. But you'd make losses at SP and Betfair SP. I then broke down everything by track because remember he listed those tracks, easy tracks. He said they'd be particularly good at. But of all those tracks he mentioned, the only one that was profitable was Lingfield on turf. That might be down to a result of the Golden Highway, might just been a blip if those top weights happen to be well drawn. I then thought, well, I've only gone back to 2016. Let's go back a bit further, see if we can find out anything else about top weights in nurseries. Went back to the start of this century. There were only 3 winning years at SP, 2005, 2012, and 2015. At Betfair SP, there were profits in a couple more years, including last year when you'd have made 67 pence after backing 179 top weights on turf in nurseries in Britain. So yeah, it doesn't look particularly encouraging. So I looked at various other angles, and one thing you do notice is when top weights win in nurseries, they tend to be front runners. And so you think, well, that's okay. I'll just look at the ones that the pace map suggests are likely to make the running. But of course, that's very difficult with horses who are having, particularly when they're having their nursery debut, first run in a handicap, because they might have, you look at their sort of three previous running styles in maidens and novices. It's probably dwelt start in rear, mid division, never nearer, and then always behind, priced at sort of 33 to 1, 50 to 1, and 100 to 1. Next thing, they're 7-2 favourite in a nursery, and they make all. So you cannot easily predict running styles in nurseries, particularly when a horse is making its handicap debut. So yeah, do beware of pace maps in nursery and thinking, oh, horse X is going to get an easy lead here, because it might be up against ones who haven't been off or haven't been capable of winning in the company they've been keeping. So I then tried to
nurseries by the looks of it. If you're a punter,
sorry.
If you're a punter, it looks like avoid nurseries.
Yeah, absolutely. A bit of a minefield. I think you remember from keeping my betting records for me when I was in running full time that certain races I wasn't particularly good at, and nurseries was one of them.
And away races.
Sorry?
And away races.
Yeah. So one angle I looked at as well. So rather than you could lay all these blinds and you would make a profit. So certainly since 2016, a profit if you'd laid all 1,502 top weights in those nurseries. Say this is turf in Britain from the beginning of 2016. You'd have made just over 14% on turnover at Betfair SP after 2% commission. That's a profit of £215.40. However, if you chuck out those who are making their nursery debut, those ones who might improve and suddenly decide they can race prominently after being held up 3 times previously, the strike rate improves. So this is the first lay angle that I came up with, which was to lay top weights in nurseries, provided they'd had at least one previous run in a nursery. And with that, you'd have laid 108 winners from 732 bets. Strike rate's 14.75%. And you'd have made £169.73, just over 23% on turnover, laying at BSP after commission. So the expected number of winners was well below what the market suggested. The WAC score, winners above expected, was minus 32.5. It's given an actual over expected score of 0.77, so anything below 1 is bad. That was a statistically significant sample. And the other one as well is previous winners. Now, if you laid top weights in nurseries who'd had at least one run in a nursery before and had also won at least once previously, then you'd have made 38.45% on turnover. So again, these horses, they might not do anything different because they've already had, so regards running style, because they've already had at least one run in a handicap. They've won once or more previously, so the market might overreact to that, but they have a shocking record. So that was again setting out trying to find a profitable backing system that's turned into a profitable laying system. So yeah, but you watch out for that on TV, radio, in print. Top weights in nurseries. You'll get one that will win at 16 to 1, trained by Richard Hannon. They say, oh, we should have been on that. It was the top weight in a nursery. But as a general rule, they are not profitable to follow.
Okay, now that the correspondent back in the 80s, that when you read that, the well-known winning system from August, you immediately think he's writing it from his palatial abode overlooking
right.
And he's actually writing it from the poorhouse and probably borrowed the money for the stamp.
Yeah, well, just heard it in a betting shop.
Yeah. Excellent. Okay, Andrew, well, that what have we got on today?
What are we? It's Thursday, yes. I'm recording the Weekend Watch podcast and YouTube video for Gigi, looking at Saturday's racing. So that's sort of Haydock, Chester, and wherever else it is this weekend. I'm going to the gym, hence my attire. After I've drop the little ones off at their holiday clubs. And so
holiday clubs, that's the game.
So we'll get back from the gym for sort of 10:30 when the decks start coming through, and then 3.5 hours of non-stop study for Saturday's cards, and then recording.
Good man. We're taking a cat to be neutered that hasn't been able to eat since last night.
Oh dear!
At 9 o'clock, and then I'm off to Sandown to the Brigadier
lovely.
Gerard.
Oh, it's Brigadier Gerard. Yeah.
Nice, easy track.
That's one of my, that's the greatest evening meeting I think anywhere, isn't it? In terms of
Star Sports are sponsoring it. So that'll be good. No Greyhound Derby for me this weekend. It's only the quarterfinals and service is not required. So,
but back in the day when I had a proper job working for Samsung in the mid-90s, I took a coach load of Koreans to Sandown for the Brigadier Gerald. I think it was the Year Pilsudski one for Sir Michael Stout. Absolutely chucked down. I remember there was no chalk because every time bookies tried to price up, it just got washed off immediately. So a good time was had by all, and our Korean paymasters paid for all the booze. So happy days.
Oh, by the way, one last thing. Max the Shoes. Do you know Max the Shoes?
Yes, yeah.
Because he knows you.
Yeah,
not surprised that place went skint.
When I used to work in the footwear industry, Max.
He remembers you.
He had two shops in Leicester, one on the Welford Road and one on Beaver Street in town, and he used to sort of sell, so all the sort of like all the samples from our brands. He used to sort of take them and or take the sort of like. The ones, the sort of like out of production ones, and all the size 7s and size 12s that were left at the end of the season.
Well, he sells only top quality stuff now, but he obviously watched the thing where you said you used to use their phone to ring the 0898 numbers, and he said he's not surprised they went skint. I remember that little. Anyway, if you're watching this, Max, see you finals night. All right, mate. Well, I'll let you get on with your busy day. Enjoy your gym.
Yeah, thanks, mate.
Thanks for that. And top weights in nurseries.
No, safe journey to Sandown.
Thank you. Cheers, mate.
Catch you soon.
Bye. Hello, everyone. Just a quick one. If you have enjoyed these videos and are enjoying these videos, can you please like and subscribe to my channel? Thanks very much.